It was very private. It was never something that we were going to ever address. It wasn't something we were going to talk about because we were going to deal with it internally and we were going to like figure it out on our own. And we didn't think that like we would have to tell anyone. But what happens is when there's people that do bad things, when there's people that take advantage of people, steal from people, lie to people, eventually their karma catches on. And because we were involved, we were like the front of it. Like it was like almost like it was like our fault almost. And now we're at a position where we have to speak on it. Because what I learned in life is if you don't speak on something yourself.
You serious?
Now, I've made a lot of rise and fall videos and downfall videos these last couple of months, and after I make these videos, every couple of weeks, I'll check up on the channels that I spoke about to see if they switched up their content to a broader audience or if they are still on a downward spiral. And I thought to myself, why not make a series based around this concept? So, I did. Welcome to the new series where I revisit these channels that I spoke about in previous videos to see how well or how much worse they're doing. The first entry for this series will be today's video where we check out Austin McBroom and the Ace family, of course excluding the kids from the video. If you haven't seen the first video, I'd advise you to watch it before we jump into this video. But if you do enjoy the series, make sure to leave a like so I know that you're messing with this concept. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, when we last visited the Ace family 6 months ago, we talked about the string of controversies that they were involved in. The charity basketball game, the weird lollipop video involving Catherine's niece, the house that they were renting being broken into, the Social Gloves boxing match fiasco, and the Ace family getting their house foreclosed on. Since talking about Austin McBroom in July of last year, some things have changed. One of the most notable things that changed was their drop in subscriber count and an inability to gain those subscribers back within the last couple of months. The Ace family would reach their peak of 19.1 million subscribers, but since hitting their peak, they have become stagnant and have been losing subscribers rather than gaining subscribers. The Ace family has also struggled with their view count every month. During 2019 and most of 2020, the Ace family would hover around 80 million to 100 million views every month. But since September of 2020, the Ace family's views would drop significantly, dropping from 90 million views 2 months prior to 35 million views in the month of September. As we approach the present day, their views per month now linger around 20 million views, which is extremely high if you're a channel with only 1 million subscribers, but it's pretty low when you put into perspective that the Ace family had 19.1 million subscribers at one point in time. Now, two of the bigger issues that we talked about on the last video was the Social Gloves boxing match and how the Ace family's house was in the process of pre-foreclosure. Those were two of the biggest controversies during July, and they are still prominent as of today. So let's talk about it. During my last video, I glossed over the Social Gloves fiasco. I honestly don't know why, but a young Bills was either nervous to get into the drama, or maybe it was because lawsuits were flying left and right, and I was waiting to cover more of the story, and I didn't want to say something that was wrong because the Ace family fans can be pretty crazy and scary. But to get into the thick of things, we have to start from the beginning. The Social Gloves boxing match was a disaster. We all know that. From top to bottom, it was just really bad. After the event was over, allegations that later became true came out against the event, stating that many of the boxers were never paid. James Harden, Taylor Holder, Nate Wyatt, and LiveX Live would all sue Austin McBroom and his company after it was revealed that Austin actually owned Social Gloves and was the mastermind behind putting the event together. James Harden and Taylor Holder would sue Austin for over $2 million separately, and well, for LiveX Live, the company that partnered with Austin McBroom, they would end up suing Austin for $100 million. While Taylor Holder and Austin McBroom settled their lawsuit outside of court, the others involved are still in the midst of their fight to get the money that they were promised, with LiveX Live suing for defamation of character. Some of these lawsuits are still ongoing, and I do hope to see the people involved get some type of compensation from Austin McBroom. Next up, we have to talk about something that is more recent for the Ace family, and that is them losing their multi-million-dollar mansion. During the summertime, a photo would surface of Austin's house on Zillow being listed as a pre-foreclosure. The house itself would be listed for $7.5 million. Now, Austin and Catherine wouldn't speak about the situation until the end of November, when they would upload a video titled Our House Story. This video would be over an hour long, and during the video, Catherine would speak about how they never received a certificate of occupancy, which means they were never actually able to live in the house. She She would claim that they wouldn't even receive paperwork to achieve a certificate of occupancy. Catherine would speak about their builder that supposedly scammed them and deceived them throughout their time working with him. This video would be one of the most viewed videos in months for the Ace family, and at first glance, you might feel bad for the two because they speak about not having heat and struggling during their time living at the house. The two also made it seem like they were unaware of the conditions involving the construction of the house. That would all change when this bombshell would come out. This channel named Fleur would release this video where they deep dive and debunk all the statements made by Catherine and Austin in their video. Here's just a little bit of Fleur's video.
Be interested in the house, right? The guy who was there every day, he was not a licensed contractor and he was using someone else's contracting license, and we were unaware of it for 2 years, okay? So he lied to us and said that, you know, he's the contractor, but in reality, the real contractors was this contracting company called T&L Constructions. So they're the real contractors to this house and the only licensed contractors to this house. So our builder just told us something and we're gonna have him re-say it for the video. I just think this is so funny. So go ahead.
So anyway.
The contractor they are referring to in their video is someone by the name of Avi Cochlany. Avi is the builder Austin originally approached to combine the two properties into a mega mansion.
Hey, Catherine.
Hey, Avi. Is there any way that we could possibly...
As seen in this official statement of information filed with the Secretary of State of California, Avi Cochlany is one of the owners of M Development LLC, along with his brother Tammy Cochlany. Both individuals are named as beneficial owners of the company. Furthermore, note that the type of business is labeled as construction, development, and remodeling. M Development is important because they had been the previous owners of the Ace family property from 2016 until Austin and Catherine moved in. As seen in this permit application from 2017, M Development is listed as the owner of the property during the development and construction of the Ace family compound. The property only ever had something called an owner-builder permit. An owner-builder is what the term indicates. The person owns the property and acts as the general contractor on the job, and either does the work or has employees or licensed subcontractors work on the project. In this case, the owner-builder is Avi, and he was never legally required to have a contractor's license, and the Ace family on April 11, 2019, M Development LLC's statement of information was legally changed to include Ace Hat Collection Incorporated, Austin, and Catherine as officers of the company. The business address of the company was even changed to Austin and Catherine's home address. Also, note that the type of business for M Development LLC changed from construction, development and remodeling, to entertainment. Catherine's signature is at the bottom of this paperwork. While partial owners of M Development LLC, Austin and Catherine obtained an ownership interest as borrowers, along with Tammy Cochlany. While borrowers of M Development, Catherine and Austin took out an over $3.5 million loan from 5 Arch Funding. In my opinion, they became members of M Development LLC, because under an owner-builder permit, the property is ineligible for resale unless the owner-builder has lived at the property for at least 12 months. One loophole to this situation is a quitclaim deed. A quitclaim deed is an instrument used to transfer real property, such as real estate. The exception is that they can be used when a property transfers ownership without technically being sold. That is when no money is involved. Therefore, no resale occurred and the McBrooms can officially become owners. They likely exchanged money for the property outside of the quitclaim deed. Since quitclaim deed transfers are considered gifts, they are typically used between family members or business partners transferring property interest. While still partial owners of M Development, Austin and Catherine entered into a quitclaim deed with the Cochlany family. They transferred the deed solely to Ace Hat Collection and subsequently Austin and Catherine removed themselves as owners. I believe the McBroom family became temporary owners to make the quitclaim transfer more legitimate, and possibly for tax reasons too. It also makes me believe they were always aware that their general contractor never had a license, since they were aware of the owner-builder permit, and they went through all that trouble to disguise the sale of the property.
We never got a certificate of occupancy. We are not legally able to be occupants in our home that we've been paying for, that we purchased for almost 3 years. We have never had a certificate of occupancy.
While it is true that they never had a certificate of occupancy, that isn't the only reason why they were never legally allowed to live at the property. In July 2019, Austin and Catherine took out an almost $9 million mortgage loan with 5 Arch Funding as the lender. In the loan's agreement, the conditions were that the loan was for business purposes, and under no circumstance shall the borrower occupy, establish, or use the property, or any part thereof, as borrower's residence or residence of any principal. The agreement went on to say the property is owned by the borrower exclusively for commercial purpose, either for repair or resale. This means that they obtained the mortgage under false pretenses, making the lenders believe that they were not living there and only using the property to work and film, or to flip and resell at a later date. Austin McBroom signed the agreement, and by making this their permanent residence, Catherine and Austin committed mortgage fraud. They were never legally allowed to occupy the residence because of this.
Fleur's video dug up public documents involving the construction of the house and some more legal issues that Austin and Catherine, I'm assuming, didn't think would come up after they released their video. These documents show that they received a loan to work on the house and then resell it to another buyer. This loan was not for personal use, where once they were finished with the construction, they could live in the house. It was a flip loan, a quick way for the lender to get their money back instead of being on a 15 to 30 year loan. This is why there is very little furniture in the house in some of the videos, because technically they were never allowed to live there, just film there and use it for commercial use. This would result in some allegations speculating that they committed mortgage fraud. Now, this was pretty big news, and it had content creators like Ethan Klein from the H3 podcast reacting to this video, putting an even bigger spotlight on the Ace family and how they try to push the blame onto someone else. During their hour-long Our House Story video, they would once again put the blame onto Avi, their main builder on site. Austin and Catherine would take little to no accountability with the situation, but this wouldn't be the first time that we would see this duo push the blame onto someone else. Remember a couple years ago with their failed app, and they said that they had nothing to do with the fans getting scammed, and it was the shady people that they were working with, and they would again say the same thing about this situation. It's gotten to a point where it's just a regular thing for the Ace family to run from their problems until they can't anymore, and then when they're backed up against the wall, they put the spotlight on someone else, until it would once again blow up in their face because what they state in these videos where they try to defend themselves happen to be filled with lies that are easily proven to be just that. Lies. Taking accountability is hard to do sometimes, especially if you're in a position that the Ace family is in. With so much attention to Austin and Catherine, their lives are constantly under a microscope. But that is one of the disadvantages about having a family channel on YouTube. Your life will constantly be viewed by outsiders, and everything you do, whether it's good or bad, will be judged. Instead of lying about the house, they could have just spoke up about the truth. Of course, there are probably legal reasons why they couldn't tell the truth on the video, because then it could be used against them. But then the duo should have just made the video after all their legal trouble was finished. The Ace family has struggled lately, being wrapped up in controversies that they created and also having a loss in viewership and subscriber count. Austin and Catherine have also slowed down their upload schedule, with their last upload being released over a week ago. Now, do I think the Ace family is doing better or worse? Honestly, I'd have to say both. Outside of YouTube, they have some lawsuits against them, and that's a negative. But even though they never gained those subscribers back from a couple months ago, their channel has just become stagnant and hasn't plunged just yet. Their videos still gain over 1 million views, and even though that isn't a lot for their channel, that is still a lot of views in general, which equates to a good amount of money from a channel that can gain close to 20 million views a month. In short, they're still getting to their bag. Austin and Catherine really haven't grown in the aspect of taking accountability for their actions, and they might just be those content creators that never will. Eventually, it will start to do more damage to their already damaged public image, and eventually we might even see their channel go below the 1 million views per video. But the real question is, do you think the Ace family has gotten better or worse? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know in the comments below what you would like to see next. But this has been the first installment to the series of revisiting blank channels. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, and if you happen to enjoy my channel, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.